Gary, how
How
are you?
y'all
I'm over
doing?
here telling the audience,
What's
I'm
going
like,
on, Gary?
I'm not sure if he's got the Skype, so we're seeing if someone's going to hook it up for him. How are you, man? You're looking great. You look
Thanks,
great, man.
man.
Lean and
I'm hanging
machine.
in there, man, during this crazy times, right? It's a
Yes.
beautiful day outside, man.
Oh man, listen. So definitely very, very excited to have you on. As we seen your last performance, obviously with Isaac Dogboe, just blown away. I mean,
Yeah,
from the
man.
beginning, I thought, wow, his shoulders are a little big. He's a little muscular. Is he gonna gas out? But it was like, you guys, I don't know what he did, what you did, what changes were made, but he was just like a little machine. Defense was so much better. Can you just, I don't know, walk us through the beginning when he came to you and how long it's been to get him here? And are you satisfied with this performance?
Well, that last question, yes, I'm definitely satisfied with what I saw from Isaac. It was funny how this thing worked out. I like to say it was divine intervention. We watched his fight. The first time I ever saw him fight. And when he won the title, as a matter of fact. And that Monday, we were back in the gym, and I had said to Boogie, Patrice Harris, and I said to him, I said, man, yo, I saw this kid fight this weekend from Ghana. And I said, man, I was really impressed with him, man. I said, I would love to work with that guy. You know what I mean? And so that was just a conversation we had, gym talk. And a little time later, I know he had lost to Navarrete. I didn't see the second fight, but I saw the first. And it wasn't the same kid that I had saw the first time out. And so his dad actually got in contact with Boogie via Instagram and, wanted Boogie to work the pass for Isaac. So Boogie asked me about it. I said, cool, bring him on down. And he was only supposed to stay down 2 weeks, but he fell in love with us. And he ended up staying down, called his father and said, yo, man, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to stay. And so we started to work with him. And, first and foremost, he's just a good soul. You know what I mean? Anybody would love to work with this guy.
Mm.
And he had a confidence problem when he first came. We put him in with some guys, and, I could tell that, he wasn't 100% confident in what he was doing. And so I told Boogie, look, we're going to step back a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and build that confidence up, man, and see what he can do from there. And so I put him in there with guys that I knew he could handle. And after that, man, he just shot, his confidence just shot through the ceiling. He became one of the boys. And I was really, really elated with what I saw from him last Tuesday. He
Yeah,
exceeded my expectations for sure.
definitely. He was so much fun to watch, and he was definitely one of the bright spots of the card. But let me ask you, how good can he be, do you think?
I think as long as, because my whole thing was to not put him in a third war after the two beatings that he had taken. And so, I didn't want a fight that would guarantee him a win, but a fight that would make him think, a fight that would make him depend on, his skill set for sure. I think the sky's the limit for Isaac, to be honest with you. The foundation was there. He said on the telecast that when we got him, he was a broken man. I don't think so. I think he was fractured. I think that he was wounded on the battlefield, but I definitely think he has the foundation to recapture that title again, for sure.
That's what's up. Yeah, I listen. I got a lot of hope for him. I can't wait to see him again. But just catch us up with you for a second. What's been going on? And how's the gym shaping out? How's everybody's work getting in during this time? Just talk us through the difficulties and the successes during this pandemic.
Well, of course, just like everybody else, man, we had to find ways to survive during such a crazy time, man. You got the pandemic going on. Then you have, people fighting not to wear masks. You have the Black Lives Matter movement going on. The city was in this turmoil, and along with, inner city violence. So, we, got together one day and we said, okay, well, look, let's do something. We can't go inside the gym. What can we train at? And so we did. One of the guys that we trained, his dad runs a school, and he loaned us the football field. And so we had camp for Isaac all except for one day on a football field at Anacostia High School. So we stayed down there for about 6 to 7 weeks, I believe. We was took guys getting used to the weather because, of course, you're talking 90 plus days out there, and 4 days of spawn. I mean, 4 rounds and 2 rounds of spawn out there is like you spawn 8 to 10 rounds. And so we made it through. Everybody came through, all right. And thus far, it's so good. We actually are going down there within the next hour, meet him down on the field today.
Oh yeah,
So he was back in the gym. When we got back that Wednesday, Friday he was back in the gym.
Wow. Okay. And so is there any oh man, there's somebody, you have a fighter whose fight's coming up. I just put that note up. Oh man, who was it? Don't you have somebody who do you have scheduled coming up next?
Sean Porter, supposed to go with Sean. I believe it's towards the end of August or early September.
Yeah, Sean's gonna actually, that's what we were talking about. He's fighting Sebastian, the IBO champion.
Right. So I'm getting ready to lock and load and go with Sean. But then you have, of course, Patrick Harris. You have Kobe Brady, Keyshawn Williams, and I was supposed to have gone with Eric Walker, but it's a short notice fight. So I'm gonna.
Damn, champ! He needs
Walker,
you. He needs you. See what you could do, man. That dude is tough. He's with Joel Diaz. He's an Olympian. He's on the fast track. Eric gonna need you.
Yeah, that's the short. What I'm gonna do for him, I'm gonna write a plan up for him, and hopefully they can follow it. But you know me, Nesta, I don't like last minute fights, man. If I'm going out on that battlefield, I'm going to win. And 2 weeks to me just is not enough time to get that job done.
Nah, for sure.
And I would love to have had him in camp for 6 to 8, but it's such a short notice, and we got so many other things on the plate. I would do him in a real injustice just showing up. So the best thing I could do for him is put together a plan of action of what I think is the best way to attack this man, or not attack him, and go from there.
Without giving too much away, I mean, is the plan to exploit? Because here's the thing, like, he's obviously a talented amateur with a lot of experience, but he's only got 5 fights in the professionals. You know what I mean? We seen with the Lomachenko what could happen to a decorated amateur who actually had pro fights because he fought in the World Series, and then come across a guy with veteran moves. You know what I'm saying? So without giving too much away, would that be kind of the route you'd want to go, exploit the little fights he has at the pros, plus the fact that he hasn't really gone very long and deep?
Well, he has a great trainer, Joel Diaz.
Yeah,
a good man, and but you know me. I don't think no man is invincible, and I see 1,000 ways that you can attack this man. But to me, he's young. He has that amateur background. I think he got 200 or 300 amateur fights or something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
And, so he's a professional amateur pro so far, and there are things that you can do. There are, I watched this videotape from Friday to last night was the last video that I watched. So there are certain ways that he can be attacked, and I think that could pay dividends. But for the most part, 2 weeks is just not enough time for me in my book.
I feel you.
So I heard you say something about Porter. Did you ask him if he's working with Porter for this one?
Yes, he said yes.
Oh,
they're getting
really?
ready to get over there.
How long did you guys know it was going to be Formella? Because we've been knowing Formella for a minute here. We actually were pulling for Thulani Minge when Formella, challenged him for the IBO title, when Thulani from South Africa didn't get the win. That was the guy that I thought was going to be somebody with his height and length in that welterweight division. Have you watched Formella?
Yeah, Kenny sent me actually just sent me the box rec to him because the opponents kept changing and the dates kept changing. So we were at a point where we didn't know, when the fight was going to happen, who it was going to be, what time should I come out, should I come out at all? And so I just got his box rec the other day. I kind of glanced at it, but I'm going to get a little bit deeper into it. Sean is just one of those fighters that is very, very difficult to prepare for. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get. He can box you. He can bang with you. You know, he can get rough with you. I mean, in my whole career, he's one of the most difficult fighters that I have ever seen anyone have to prepare for, to be honest with you.
Wow. So we were saying, to our audience how this was, Al or whoever Sean's handlers are taking care of him. He's had a very grueling schedule ever since Adrian Broner. It's been, name after name. And he's been out of the ring for about a year. So this is kind of the right fight for him to get back into things. Do you look at it that way?
I don't, because this conversation we had yesterday, and in fact, I had this conversation with Isaac. Anybody that stepped in that ring, and you guys seen it time and time again, on paper, you got one guy that's supposed to win, the other guy's supposed to get blown out. But when the fight starts, normally, prime example, Isaac, against Navarrete. I mean, who knew this guy? And not only did he show up, he showed out when he got there. So everybody's a threat. I really don't look at it that way. Anybody that come in that ring, I look at it as a threat and a potential person to take away that title from you. You know what I mean? So, like you said, Sean fought all kinds of names, even going back to the amateurs. When you look at his amateur resume and who he fought in the amateurs at 165, and not only did he fight him, I mean, he beat him. Daniel Jacobs, before Boo Boo. There was so many on that resume that this man fought, and he would always find a way to dig it out to come through. So, no, I don't really look at it like that. I just look at it just another guy in our way, man. Getting back to where Sean needed to be, and that's for that title. Actually, I thought that, and I would have loved to see them run him and Earl right back.
Yeah, I know that
was one hell of a fight, man.
I know that's what he wanted.
That's a tough one for sure.
So
real quick, before we move on to that, let me ask you your opinion. Because we were talking about we asked the IBO, or Nested really specifically, whether the belt was going to be on the line, with Porter, and basically they said they weren't sure if he was going to pay the sanctioning fees or not. They weren't sure what was going to go that route. I'm not counting any of his pockets. I'm not asking you to, say anything that you don't want to say, but what do you think? You think that the IBO belt deserves a little more love, or you think guys should try to fight for that belt? I mean, I think it's still another title, but ultimately, obviously it's another, person to pay, but what do you think?
I think that the IBO, just like any other title, or it's just like the guys that's fighting for the NABO or NABF.
Yep.
It's just a step back to get back to that WBA, WBC, IBF title.
Well said.
So you don't think that Sean should, if he wins and when he wins, kind of grab it and, I don't know, raise it above his head, embrace it as if he won it? Is that something that...
No. I definitely think, not to, throw no shade or stone on that title. Yes, it's something to be proud of, because, when you think about the square footage of the planet Earth and how many fighters are actually in the business, it's the odds against you winning any type of title. You know what I mean? And so definitely I think he should hoist that title up, and I think he should be proud of it.
For sure. Barry, man, a bunch of years ago, I don't know who was fighting. I'm sure you had Anthony and Lamont, but it was in Florida, I think, that we had bumped into. Oh, you froze. Are you there?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. We had bumped into each other at a fight that you were doing for your guys in Florida. I believe it was both Anthony Peterson and Lamont Peterson. I mean, I seen everybody was there. Do you remember that one time in Florida? I think you guys all had on like white track suits.
I remember that. We were talking about PVC. And about the other not wanting to, pay the fighters that type of money. I
Yo,
remember that.
damn, that's official. You got perfect memory. So
I
I
remember
I
that.
was telling my audience that I wasn't sure if in that conversation. All right, so I'll say it's something you had said. Like I heard, son, you had told me something like, yeah, I heard that someone isn't happy on that side of the street. So I don't want to insinuate, but it felt like you was talking about Bud back then. Do you feel, was it Bud, and do you feel like he's not happy with how he's being handled?
Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't Bud that I was specifically speaking about. That was just people in general. As far as the fight's concerned, and I know that and how long fighters have been getting uh, purse purses that just didn't match their performance. And any given Sunday, you go up there and you start boxing, man. And I know that you may not leave. And so these guys, putting their neck on the line like that and getting,
We might need you
it
to
does
like
not match.
stand in one place,
My,
Barry. We,
how could anybody be upset or mad? Person in boxing as opposed to getting paid this little bit of money for putting their neck on the line. That's all I was saying. I thought it was time. You look at the NFL, you look at the NBA, you look at Major League Hockey, baseball. All these guys get salaries, to the point where they can retire maybe after 1 or 2 seasons. Some of them do.
Mm,
Boxers,
yep.
they struggling just to get money to pay their insurance.
Mm,
so
When you
definitely.
think about it.
we were talking about Bob Arum kind of failing Bud in the eyes of our eyes. We feel like every single welterweight just announced a fight. Like everyone that I know, Boots Ennis, Virgil just fought. Rashidi Ellis is even fighting. Brad Solomon is back. Yordani Ulgas, Abel Ramos, now Sean Porter and Sebastian Formella. Danny and Earl is gonna get announced.
Jamal James.
And all the while, all these opponents were potential Bud opponents. Before the pandemic, Porter was saying he would be interested. Ken was saying, well, Bob has my number. Call me. Never happened. Thurman expressed interest. Senate contract. Never happened. Jamel Charlo said he would fight him. Bob came on our show. I love that fight. That's better than any fight. Never sent them an offer. And it just looks like, Bud can't get that fight.
Man, look, the way I feel, it's simple with me. I don't believe in 4 and 5 different belts at the same sanctioning body. I think it ought to be one massive belt, and all the governing bodies kind of combined, which is in my dream world. Combine their titles together and let everybody fight for that one title, and then you'll truly see who is the best person on the planet. That's not going to happen. I mean, so some kind of way, hopefully everybody find a middle ground. So people like Bud and some of these other fighters, that don't have a lot of competition, can get what they're looking for. Yeah, I think all of those names you just named, just imagine seeing all those guys go up against one another, eliminating each other, and the last 2 fight for that covenant crown. That'd be outstanding.
That would be awesome.
That would. It's just, we would need those 4 to 5 sanctioning bodies to kind of get together and split their fees and make one belt, maybe put the IBF off to the right, the way they have Ali's face or something like that. But again, staying on.
Wait, real quick. What was that last era that you thought that happened?
Wow. I mean, but see, I'm going back.
Oh, I don't mind.
Back to you're going back to Jack Johnson and when he did this thing, James Corbett, days like that where the best fought the best. I mean, you can even come up a little bit and go back to Ray Robinson days or Ray Leonard days. Ray fought Duran, he fought Hagler, he fought Hearns. Benitez. These were great. These were just legendary fights, man. And they didn't wait till one was old. They fought each other, at the peak of their career.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And when you go back to them days, when you see people like that group we just spoke about, and you see like Aaron Pryor, Alexis Arguello, and man, these are legendary fights, man. So legendary. We still talking about them fights to this day.
Yep. I just saw the legendary nights last night for that fight.
Man, I'm telling you, man. So me personally, like you said, Nesta, I like to see, all those governing bodies kind of come together and create that one huge title and let everybody from around the world fight. That's us. That's people in the UK. I mean, just everywhere. And had the last two standing. Fight for that championship.
I agree. Listen, Barry, you being in that DMV area, man, I know that you're familiar with Gary Russell, not only from the amateurs, but from the pros, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you know, obviously, you might not be hip to social media, but my man has been breaking the internet in the last 48 hours. He recently said that, I believe in the Olympic trials or Olympic training center, he broke Terrence Crawford's jaw, sent him to the hospital. And he says, look, I want to move up to 47. I could fight those guys at 47. I'll fight, Terrence Crawford. I wanted to fight Mikey. He didn't want to fight me. I wanted to fight Leo, Abner. I mean, he's called out Tank, Devin Haney. He wanted to fight Farmer before Farmer lost the belt to Joseph Diaz. How serious do you think Gary is? Like, should us as boxing fans really be, like, can he really move from 126 to 140 for Devin Haney, from 126 to 147 for Terrence Crawford, from 126 to 135 for Gervonta Davis? Like, or is he just selling us dreams here? Like, you know him better than us.
That's a very talented young man. Always have been, ever since he was a little boy. In fact, when I first saw him, he could have had to be about 5 years old or something, throwing punches in the ring then. Apparently, he sees something in these guys that he think he can exploit and come away with a victory. So, teach his own, man. More power to you. If they give him that shot that he's looking for, then take it. If you believe in it, go get it.
And you believe he can do it, though? Like, that's the question. Can he do it, being a smaller guy for so long? Like, he's been at 126 for so many years.
I'm not one to tell a person what they can and can't do. Apparently, him and his squad, his dad, they must see something that they believe in. And if you believe strongly in it, I mean, go for it. I mean, he already did, to solidify his position in boxing. But apparently, you can do it. Just go for it.
And specifically Haney, you think a Haney is green enough that Russell could take advantage of, or is that still a very difficult fight just because Haney's a natural 135-pounder?
Be honest with you, and I've known Devin since he was a little boy. In fact, we used to go out to Vegas and train his dad years ago. But I have never seen Devin fight. I saw a clip or two, especially when he came here to DC and fight in the MGM, I believe it is. Came past the gym, they trained one day, and they did their thing. But I've never seen him fight.
All right, we got a few questions from the people, and then we will get you out of here. David Maldonado says, who wins in a fantasy fight at 147 between Miguel Cotto and Felix Trinidad, and why? I think Tito.
Miguel Cotto.
To Miguel Cotto.
Wow.
Nice.
I think Miguel Cotto. I think Tito. I used to like him also. He fought Maurice Blanca here when we first ever really saw him. I think that Cotto was a better all-around fighter, skill-wise. He can box you, he can bang with you, and his ring IQ was just off the charts. So, yeah, I go with Cotto.
Sway in Brooklyn says, thanks for coming on the show. Can you rank these four middleweights? Canelo, Triple G, Charlo, Andre.
Andre Ward?
Nah. Andrade.
Demetrius Andrade. Wow. Um, Definitely, I will put Alvarez number one.
Rightfully so.
Uh, and we had Demetrius and we had Charlo, and who else was that?
Triple G, Charlo, and Andre.
Everybody else number two.
Okay.
Mm.
James Valdez in San Antonio says, in watching your last fight with Dogboe, I noticed that it was only an 8-rounder. Excuse me, an 8-round fight. Can you share with us the reason the camp made the decision to only do an 8-rounder, and will his next fight be 8 or 10 rounder based on what you saw from him in his last fight? I felt he could have stopped his opponent if he had stepped on the gas in the last round.
No, I think you're 100% right. I think we actually should have stopped him a couple of rounds earlier, but he was in cruise mode. And, when I gave him that sign and told him to go ahead on, I believe the term I used was to either turn it up, close the show was one of them, or spend it all. That's what I told him. And he went on ahead and he did his job. We didn't have, if it was up to us, we would have fought 10 rounds. But I guess it was because of the way this whole bubble thing is working, the COVID, and how many fights they had on the card, as how we only ended up going 8 rounds. But I definitely wanted to go 10 as a minimum.
All right, we have Big Nick in the UK says, thanks for coming on the show, champ. When you work with a fighter, are camps for working on your weaknesses, or are they just for working on strengths and weaknesses of your next opponent? As there seems to be an increasing number of fighters who say they don't watch fight tape on their next opponent.
Well, when we're in camp, man, we try to prepare for everything. You know, you got some guys that can only box and they can't fight in the trenches. You got others that can fight in the trenches, can't box. Some could do it left, some right. We try to prepare for everything and not just one thing in boxing. So, yes, we're going to prepare for whatever strengths the opponent has, and we're going to try to find whatever weaknesses they have to try to attack their weaknesses.
We got George in Dallas-Fort Worth that says, would you like Franchon Cruz Dezurn to do a rematch with Alejandra Jimenez if she can pass a monthly drug test?
Sure. I mean, I thought it was a hell of a fight, all the garbage aside. I actually thought Franchon won that fight the first time, but I think body language set it off. And but I definitely would love to revisit that fight again. But I know that she sent me a text the other day, somebody else on the radar, that they were talking about her being mandatory fight against.
Uh-oh.
So,
is it Shadaisa Green?
Yes, Shadaisa Green
Get
is the one.
No way.
Yeah,
No, I don't want that fight, coach. It's too soon. Shadasia ain't. Man, I don't know if Shadasia ready, man. Franchon, I was just talking about, because I seen Shadasia fight for the WBC Eliminator. I told my audience it might end up being her. I think it's too soon. She look, Franchon been on the world level. She fought Jimenez. She fought Mariciela Conejo. She fought, for God's sake, she fought Clarissa her debut, man. Damn, that's not good.
And the thing is, it's crazy because I spoke to Shadaisa. Someone called me for some sparring for her, not knowing that I knew something about Shadaisa because she was in camp with us, with Sean before. And Kenny used to work with her. And she had said then, about, possibly fighting Franchon or wanting to fight Franchon. And we welcome that. We don't discriminate. Whoever it is, step up, we can get it. And so I'm definitely looking forward to it, be it Shadasia, be it Jimenez, whichever one. This time, it's going to be a different ball game, especially if we face that young girl again. Man,
I'm nervous. That sucks, man. I love both of them. That's Like, I really know Shadaisa, coach. Right now I can't go to the gym because they're only letting the fighters there. But like, that's the gym I train out of, man. I've sparred her. I've watched her spar countless professionals, like countless. Juan Bowser that just fought on Top Rank. I mean, Derevyanchenko. I mean, she's fearless. Damn, this is crazy.
Yeah. Shadaisa got a good skill set. I
Yeah.
watched her down there with Kenny. In fact, I held the mitts for her, if I'm not mistaken. And she's a good little fighter. So, our thing is simple now. We're not going to take nothing for granted. I think, that last fight was an eye-opener. And we're definitely looking forward to, either Shadaisa or revisiting that fight that we did in Vegas the last time.
Damn. Coach, can
Or
you
LA,
would you be honest, even though you might fight her, do you think Shadaisa doesn't let her hands go enough? I mean, that's just my observation. I've been to, she's only had 5 fights, but I've been to at least 3. And like I said, I watch her spar. I feel she's a phenomenal counterpuncher, but I think she ain't get into that groove where she's letting her hands go enough for a real fight. Like, you not gonna win a fight just countering all the time. And in my opinion, I could be wrong because every judge is different.
Well, of course, when you going for that title, people want to. A lot of people say they want to fight for that title, and rightfully so. But they don't understand some of them, what you have to go through to get it. Everybody's not going. When you fighting them champions, man, they're not going to lay down and just give you, the average one, just give you their title. You're going to have to go to war to get it. So if it's Shadaisa, I just hope she's prepared for war, because that's what it's going to be.
Damn. So, like I said, I've been to the gym with Shadaisa, man. Like, who have you let Francho spar with? Because all women say they spar with men, but what man has she been in there with?
But Francho been in there with everybody. Francho been in there with Anthony Peterson. She been in there with Lamont Peterson. She been in there with so many different pros. It's unreal. And don't flinch when she get in there. So she is really used to it.
Wow. Mario, pick up that next one. I'm actually texting Shadaisa. She's in the gym. I'm trying to schedule her now. We at Bros.
No problem. Bros. Yeah. What's a good schedule for someone training themselves? I know it's not ideal, but for people who have no resources like a real boxing gym, but still want to get into it, running, miles/sprints, how many a days, bag work, rounds, jump, rounds, rest days, any advice would be appreciated. Big fan, by the way. Headbangers.
Thank you. It's like this. It's real simple. You have to know yourself because, some people can push a little further and a little harder than others. So, first thing I would do is, especially if you're just getting into this thing, go get a physical, get checked. You know what I mean? And after you get a physical and get checked, kind of share with the doctor what you want to do. Because especially now in the dead of summer, and if you're doing something outside, you don't want to go out there and have a heart attack or heat stroke or something like that there. I would actually limit it to maybe, especially if you're just starting out, 30 to maybe 40 minutes every other day. Start out that way. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you eat something before you train, a little something. It could be a granola bar, banana, fruit or something like that there, either a protein shake. And after you do that, and it's funny because years ago when I was on the U.S. team, and we used to go to all these nutritional meetings, one of the best recovery drinks was chocolate milk, believe it or not. Wow. And that window you have after you worked out like 30, I want to say 30, anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes, somewhere in there, your body is kind of starving for the things that it lost during your workout, your salts, your potassium, your electrolytes, the whole 9. And so it wants it back bad. And so during that time, after you get finished working out, you should have a little something after you get finished working out, going out the door. So I would say at least 3 times a week, about 30 to 40 minutes, give yourself that. And then from that, you turn it up as, you progress as far as your workouts are concerned.
Awesome. Perfect advice. Moving on to Scott, the Christian fight fan. What up, Coach Hunter? Thanks for coming on the show. You always been one of my favorite coaches in the boxing game. What what you did with Lamont career has been a blessing. Love the journey. Are there still talks of possibly doing a movie about you and the Peterson brothers?
There have been talks about that for years, during the story, the movie, the book, the whole nine. But since we've been still on this journey here, myself, for sure, I hadn't spoke to anyone recently about it. But it's crazy because we had this conversation recently, Boogie and I, about how our journey, when we looked at the movie about NWA, we
Mm,
have a similar story. We've been through the deaths, the shootings, just the fights, the coming from zero to world titles, and the deceit, everything. It's crazy, and that was just you got. Of course, you have Lamont Anthony's story, which is crazy in itself, but you have so many stories like that, throughout the gym. It's unreal, man.
yeah, no, the stories together would just be phenomenal. And I remember when they had first talked about the Ward movie, and it took forever to get done. So I still have hope for this one. I really do. I still think it could get done. I
If
hope
it
it
if it
does.
if it ever happens, I'm telling you, it'll be almost like a bestseller because everybody can identify with would be able to identify with the story because of course everybody didn't come out of the shelters, everybody didn't come out of the federal penitentiary. We have people that came through the gym that are now successful attorneys. In fact, we have two
Mm.
of them for sure. EMTs, firefighters, police officers. All the stories wasn't tragic, but yes, we did have a lot of dark stories in that gym, and it's crazy when you reflect on it, because it don't seem like that many years passed, but when you reflect on it, uh, recently, say about 2 years ago, we got this phone call from one of the kids that grew up with Patrick Harris and Javante Davis. They all sparred and fought together, traveled together, slept together the whole night. And I got a call. It was a beautiful day. And Boogie had called me and told me this young man got shot 11 times. Now, we had
Mm.
him since he was about 8 or 9 years old. He was a little teeny boy. Never knew he was going to turn out to be as good as he was. And he competed with and beat a lot of these people, and I won't call all their names out, that you see on TV now with their titles. But his life got cut short a couple of years ago. He got shot 11 times. Time he got to the hospital, he bled out. That one there hit me harder than any of them. That one was the one that really made me just want to walk out the door. And it took uh, a brother of mine from the streets to come tell me, and he was crying also. Look, man, he said, if you leave this place, it's gonna kill the program, man. He said, and the kids need you. And it's crazy because once he said that, we in there, and I'm teary eyed, I'm crying, because I couldn't believe this thing because I didn't see the end game no more. A kid walked in right after, almost like on cue, walked in the gym, came in there and said, "Excuse me, uh, are you Barry Hunter?" And I told him, "Yeah." He said, "I would like to join up for boxing." And I
Mm.
said, "Well, how did you, find anything about us?" He said, "I've been watching y'all for years. I know everything." And he said, I want to train here." And I kind of smiled and I looked at my dude and I smiled at him. I said, "All right, I get it. I hear you talking." And this is the creator talking to me now. So that kind of like, lit the light back up, for me. Other than that, man, it hit me so hard, man. I was ready to walk out the door for good.
Wow. Man, that is like super powerful. I
Yeah.
mean, just talk about, you know, God in mysterious ways. Yeah, hard transition, but we'll try it. George Foster from the UK asks,
Actually,
"Who is the
before
most?"
before you go there,
Go
Barry,
ahead.
man, I was talking about your gym to the audience not too long ago, and just letting them know how enormous that place is. Not only the inside, but the outside. Like you get to do strength and conditioning. You have like a yard. Can you just let the world know how you came to run that gym? Is it funded by the city? Like, I just want them to know what it is you do on a daily basis for the youth in your community, and man, just really how fantastic that gym is. When you compare it to a bunch of other boxing gyms, I mean, you have everything in one place, from weight rooms, multiple gyms, dozens of heavy bags. Like I said, so much space outside for the guys to do, track and field and strength and conditioning. I mean, it's just a true facility.
I got to take my hat off to DC Parks and Recs for sure. And Mayor Bowser, which I'm so proud of, the way she handled herself, through this whole Black Lives Matter movement and this thing with Donald Trump. She really, really made us proud, the way she held her ground. She's been a soldier for us. It started actually some years ago with Mayor Fenty. We had in a place that wasn't built to hold maybe, and I'm not stretching when I say this, about 8 people, and 8 is kind of at the scene. And we had like about 65 participants. So we spread it out. We were in that room, we were in the weight room, we were in the hallway, and we just took up the whole rec center. And so the mayor came through, and of course, you got that many people in one place, man. It smelled like a barn or something. So it just so happened the mayor was at a ANC meeting around the neighborhood. Somebody told him about us. He stopped through and he looked, the smell, he looked at the people, looked at the kids. He said, man, this ain't good. He said, look, I got it. And that's what he said. And so time passed by, and I thought it was all a crock. Time passed by, went to the gym one day, and the people were in there moving out stuff. Y'all got to get out, and they sent us to another place, which was pretty nice too, in the Capitol Hill area. But we were gone for like 2 years. He said, we have A1 boxing program, but the facility don't match. So they gave us a ton of money and built us a brand new gym from the ground up. And I don't know how many people know, about even my amateur background. We won over 100 national titles, and pushing close to like 150, on up. And so with the program being as successful as it was, the mayor came through for us. Mayor Fenty started it, Mayor Great finished it, and Mayor Bowser backed it the whole time.
And how many world champions, because you spoke of nationals, how many world champions were you able to get out of that gym?
Wow. Of course, you got to go back to Lamont. You go with Adrian Bronner. The first one was a young lady named Lisa Foster years ago. We've been engaged, won, and worked in so many world title fights. I asked Boogie just the other day, how many rounds do you think that we've had in boxing? And I said, combine the amateurs with the pros. So I'm really lost, man. You feel me? There's been so many fighters that we worked with that won world titles. And a lot of times, Nestor, a lot of people don't know it was Boogie and I in the background working with some of these guys. We never did talk about it.
All right.
It was George Foster. You want me to get it?
Yeah.
Okay. George Foster from the UK asks, who is the most talented boxer you've ever come up against?
Lomachenko may be one of the most talented fighters that I would coach against. And Rigondeaux was another one. And there was a kid from Cuba named Mario Kindelon. That was just a phenomenal fighter. He fought Amir Khan in the Olympics. Those may have been 3 that I can think of that had to be 3 of the most talented fighters that we ever faced.
Definitely wouldn't disagree with that. We got Majimbe who says, do you mandate that all your fighters run? If so, how many miles do they have to run?
Well, of course, we're not marathon runners. So, I try not to train as if we were marathon runners. We may run distance maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and the rest is more wind sprints. Because just like boxing is up and down, First rounds, a lot of times in the fight, be real heated, and then it kind of hit that little middle space where nothing's going on. Then down the stretch, a lot of times there's a push. So we try to, everything we do as far as our workout is concerned, surround what we do in the ring.
Well said. Got Info Joe from out in California area. LA says, "What's up, Barry Hunter? I'm from LA. I met you before in Vegas. You're one of the coolest men on the planet. Much respect for all you do for the youth. Question: do you have any cool stories about Nasim Richardson, R.I.P., that you could share?"
That's me and I. It's crazy because I was speaking to Eric, the Outlaw Hunter, the other day, and he was the one who actually told me Nazim was sick. And the next day, he was on his way down here to bring his son to work out from Philly. The next day, he called me and told me Nazim had passed.
Oh, man.
I do have one story. We were in Marquette, Michigan, in the JOs, and I forgot who he had at that time. I want to say it was Khalid Hightower. We called him Foots. And Nazim got into it with then the referee. I think the referee disqualified the kid.
Hey, looks like we lost you there, Barry. You got to get to a little bit of service.
Finally, he calmed down. And then, so we went to the store. We went to the store to get something to eat. That was a little ways from the dorms. And when we got there, he walked past this guy, and I believe him and the guy spoke. And then he stopped and did a double take. He was like, "Is that?" And it was the same referee that had just disqualified him, right? And so he getting ready to make a U-turn to the guy, and I grabbed him. I said, "Let it go, bro. It's over with." And it was so funny to me because he was getting ready to speak to this man and not recognizing that this was the same dude that he just had a heated conversation with at the dorm. And his facial expression was priceless, man. I laughed my behind off, man. That was a soldier, though. He had some fighters, man. We had to fight them guys going through like the regionals. So he had, what was called back then Concrete Jungle, and everybody know anybody that faced them, they knew they little theme song that they had, man. And so when you saw them dudes coming, you had to fight, bro.
Isn't that the name of their gym, Concrete Jungle?
Yeah.
Concrete Jungle.
Yeah. Because I feel like I remember
they have a cool logo.
Yeah, I remember going to see Cunningham.
When I say concrete, you say jungle, concrete jungle. And it struck fear in a lot of fighters, buddy, because he had some fighters that could straight do it, man.
Oh, man, I hate to make this longer, but you know what? We were talking about this question or this conversation yesterday on Untitled, and you're the perfect person for this. I feel, and one of our masterminds feels like Adrian Broner's career would have been different if he never took the step aside money and let Floyd fight Maidana. I feel like he would have dug deeper because he had a lot of success. He had late success in the Maidana fight. Plus, he suffered his first knockdown. So there was some embarrassment involved there that he needed to overcome. But by having Floyd step in, give him some money, and take over the fight, the pressure went off of him and onto Floyd. And I think, Broner never dug down as deep as he probably would have got to avenge that loss had it been an immediate rematch. Is that just me in my own head, or do you think that would have worked out differently if he would have took that rematch?
I think the rematch would have been great, and I think he could have benefited a lot from that rematch. But I don't think that was the all the end all for Adrian. Adrian was another one that, we had the privilege of working with, since he was a youngster. He used to live with Boogie, as a matter of fact. And we would train him here. He got into a little problem down there. We would train him here, send him back to Mike. He would fight and be back here the next week, the following week. And Adrian was just a phenomenal athlete and could do it, had skills up the wazoo. But I think a lot of the shall I say roadblocks were self-inflicted. You know what I mean? with or without Madonna. I think his personality was big enough and his skill set was big enough to do whatever he wanted to do. To be honest with you. And I think sometimes it bothered me because Adrian didn't get a chance to become what Adrian could have became.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Hey, let
you.
me ask you real quick, because I remember Eric Hunter pretty well. How old is his son?
His son, he got a son that's about 14 years old, and I work with him,
Oh,
man.
wow.
And he got the power like his father had. Eric used to knock almost all the kids out in the JOs. I mean, put them to sleep,
Really?
man. Yeah, he had, to generate that type of power on such a small frame was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He could punch, man, and he had skills.
No, he did.
He could fight, man. If his son hold on to what he's doing now, based on what I saw, he'll be another one.
Yeah, I still don't forgive Eric for beating Jerry Belmontes for coming in, taking it late notice, and still winning. But it's all good now. But yeah, man, I can't wait to see his son come up. Next one coming from King Amin of Essex says, "Good morning, Mr. Hunter. Was there ever a time when you turned down an opportunity to train a top prospect simply because you didn't think he was dedicated enough?"
Good question.
Yeah, well, that's a great question, and thanks for the question. There have been, and I won't call no names. There have been times that I asked to train certain fighters or lead a country or what have you. But I got to feel something too. It's a connection. It's an energy thing, and I don't work well with those who have negative energy. If you're positive, you're willing to work hard, that sort of thing, then cool. I've been known to, if I'm not that new traditional coach that let the fighter coach the fighter. I mean, you either going to do, what we ask you to do, or you get gone. It's just that simple.
Definitely.
Coach, I don't know. I missed that part of the Niejo interview. How easy is it to train him? Is he, because, I don't know. Is he a worker? Does he love to spar? Is he, I don't know. Talk to us about him just a little bit, because, again, I was really excited how well he looked.
Yeah, he is my type of fighter. One of the ones that you have to shut down, because if you leave it up to him, he won't shut down on his own. He's always one of the type of guys that, like, say if we work out today, and we're getting ready to do it again. It's hot outside. When we go back home, now it's time to chill, because the rest is just as important as the workout itself, because that's the time that your muscles get a chance to repair themselves. You got to watch him, because he'll turn around and go run another 5 miles a night or something. And so he is that type of athlete that most coaches would love to train. He's easy, he's following instructions. I can go back to that fight, and that was our first fight together. We've been working since December. That was our first fight together, and almost everything I called from that corner, he tried to do it, or he did it. So yeah,
wow, that was only one fight together?
That was our first fight together.
Damn. Now that Navarrete is moving up and you guys moved up first, is he looking for that rematch? Because Navarrete is about to get a vacant title shot with Jesse Magdaleno, who's trained by Javier Caputillo.
Well, what I would like to do, I'm going to get his body mass checked and see if he's able to go to 22 and be effective at 22. Because at 22, I think, I think personally that may be the better weight for him, or he would be very, very effective at that weight. He did great at 26. But, like you said, he's a very short guy, and I think he can handle 26 because of his power, but I definitely think he'll be a force at 22.
All right. Who's next, Mario? We got a few more
Go-
only. Sorry.
A couple more. Teddy B says, "I'm actually in DC Northeast. It's dope that y'all are working out at Anacostia in the mix. Any DMV fighters you have your eye on to possibly train? Also, the Peterson fight was a dope ass atmosphere.
No, it's no one specific person that we're looking at to train. I look for certain things in people that we do train. I love dealing with people that are not from the area or people that has not come from another gym. It's easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it all depends on that athlete. You never know who's going to walk through your door. Some of these guys come through, are just flat out clowns. And then you have the other ones that are serious at what they're trying to do and willing to put the work in. Those are the ones that I'm looking for.
Makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Next one coming from Tracy Raventor says, "What's up, champ? My absolute favorite fighter is Showtime Sean Porter. My question is, besides him being so relentless, what is his most shocking attribute?"
That Sean, because of his body structure and the way he built, nobody thinks that Sean could box. Sean could actually box too. With all the years that he spent in the amateurs, and keep in mind, I first met him when he was 10. Boogie and I were with him and Kenny, I think, his first 10 to 15 pro fights. Once we hit our strides, we went one way, they went the other way, and we got reconnected when he fought Danny Garcia. And we've been together ever since then. Sean can move, he can box, and he definitely can use his feet. So I think one of the surprising things that he does, when people look at him, they think Sean the brawler, but he can actually box.
Got you. Yeah, he boxed Ness's butt off one time in sparring. Sam in the UK says, "Who, in your opinion, is the best trainer currently in boxing, excluding yourself?"
Patrick Harris.
Yeah, Patrick Harris. It's a lot of good trainers out there. And let me take the training part off. I want to say teacher. As far as teachers are concerned, you got to look at Terrence Crawford and his crew. You have to look at Garcia. And of course, I'm kind of biased when I say this because I'm friends with him. I like Freddie Roach too, but I really like Robert Garcia. I like the way he does his guys and the way he works with his guys.
Yeah, man, Robert, he's got like a whole academy going on in there. Next one looks like it's coming from Brandon in Cincinnati. That says, "What up, coach? What's next for Nuke?" Rashid Warren.
I don't know. Last I heard that he could possibly be fighting for the world title. So
Nice. We got Ryan O'Rourke in the UK says, "What up, coach?" From UK Liverpool. Who should get the Canelo fight at super middleweight? Who tests him the most?
I really can't say. Like I said, if Andre Ward was in the mix, then it would be Ward for sure. And I'm going with Ward against anybody. But I'm not really sure. But I really like Canelo because after that Floyd fight, he was educated, man, and he went to work after that point. So definitely, I think pound for pound right now, he may hold that crown. But who knows? You look at Spence, Earl's a big kid, man. He may end up moving up to that weight. I would love to see Earl fight.
Yeah, I thought that was a perfect fight.
Awesome.
Before this pandemic, man, I was calling for that fight in Texas. I think it'll do 100,000 easy if they price the tickets, the way that they did when Canelo fought Liam Smith. He sold out like 40-something thousand there, or 50-something thousand. Actually.
If him and Earl do it, yeah, you're 100% right. I think that's a sellout, and I'm definitely going with. In that case, I got to roll with Earl. I like him, love him. I've been with him, on the circuit a few times, so that's my guy.
Last two questions, and I'll slide in another extra one. So since you said you're going with Earl on that fight versus Canelo, one could assume that if you got him beating Canelo, you got him beat him Crawford, or you don't?
No, I didn't say now. I said I'm going with him. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not
Oh, you're
going
not
to,
picking. Oh, you just okay. You riding with him. I
Yeah,
get
I'm
it.
definitely
I get it.
going with him. You know, those three. Terrence Crawford is a phenomenal fighter, man. And you know, the thing I like about him is if it's on the line, he gonna go get it. And you know, whereas though a lot of fighters may shy away from that contact, he going in the storm. That could be a blessing and a curse. Sometimes your heart could be too big, but I would love to see all three of them get at it.
All right, we got two more. One is just a invite. Izzy in Oklahoma says, "Thanks for coming on TBV. Offer always stands when and if COVID clears up and you coming through Oklahoma. Lunch on me." And we got Big Casual, who's our last one, that says, "What up, coach? Grew up in Oxon Hill, Maryland, PG County. Has Jarrett
Oh boy.
Hurd ever trained at your gym? Do you think he can get back to the top of the 154-pound division?"
Herb was Herb was one of the guys when we used to have the massive camps. They used to come up to the gym, spar many a day in the gym. Spawn was crazy. You had Hurd at the time in the gym with Javante, with the Petersons, Adrian, Robert Easter, you know, all these guys, Erickson Lubin, all of them trained in the gym around the same time. And I think that if he dedicate himself, if he put the work in and change a few things along the way, yeah, I think he can get back. Jarrett Hurd is a big, strong young man. Big, strong kid, able to take punishment. But you want to limit the punishment that he's taking. He get back to the basics. You know, like I said, tweak his game a little bit here or there. I think he can get back.
Well, Barry, that is all of them. I guess on the way out, you can give us your opinion. I know it might be one that you don't want to give, being as though you're recently working with Top Rank with Isaac Dogboe, but do you feel Bob Arum has failed Crawford?
I'm a plead the fifth on that. You know what I mean? I think that again, I think because of the politics of boxing, you know, a lot of matches we don't get a chance to see. A lot of guys that we would love to see, we don't see. I think once they work that out, get that worked out, you know, and everybody come together, man, boxing be once again one of the most popular sports in the business. Because the fights are there, the matches are there. We just got to make them.
Barry, man, I want to thank you obviously for your time. Does Isaac speak English? I never kind of realized that.
Speak the English very well.
Oh, man, we're
Very
going to have
well.
to get him on here, man. He looked
grad.
phenomenal. Really? College grad?
The whole nine, yeah.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Wow. Is he staying out there with you?
He lives here now.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
what
he
you want to
lives here
hear.
now. And we hit it on, like I said, and you know, I don't know if you guys ever seen his fan base in Ghana, but it's equal to, you know, almost the fan base that Pacquiao has in the Philippines.
Word.
And hopefully one day we get a chance to go back, win this title, take that title back to Ghana, man, you know, and so the people could really, really enjoy it, man, because they're hungry for it.
Wow, that'd be dope.
Well, Barry, man, I want to thank you once again for the time. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, man. Just continue doing what you're doing. You are a truly, like you said, a teacher and a gem in this sport. We enjoy your time and interviews. If you have any social media you want to give out or, I don't know, anything Headbangers related you want to announce, you can do so at this time. If not, thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, brothers. No, I appreciate you guys. And anytime, man, I'm sitting in this chair, I'm having a great time with you, both of you. Normally, you know, if anybody get in contact with me, it's through Boogie's Instagram page. And of course, I'm a dinosaur. I only know what they tell me as far as the computer is concerned, and especially you, Nestor, because you know everything about this stuff. But you know, if you're ever in DC, y'all come on past. We at the Headbangers at Bald Eagle Rec Center. It's on Joliet Street, Southwest.
All right. Well, Barry, man, thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. World-renowned
Thanks,
trainer,
Barry.
Thank you, brother.
Barry
Appreciate
Hunter.
you,
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from Title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.